Welcome to the Reality After Show. I'm Jonny Fairplay. That's Dan Montchal. We're talking the Challenge USA Episode 9. What's up, Dan?
Oh, not too much. How you doing?
I'm in pain. If you follow my social media, I had a small tribal gecko tattoo on my right thigh. I got in college. It was a mistake. I had a 5 foot iguana in college named Shaq Diesel, which was kind of cool. And I'm just like, oh, let me just get an iguana. Let me just get a lizard tattoo. And so it wasn't even. It was a gecko. So anyway, if I do get the call from Australian Survivor, I'm rocking a speedo, stars and stripes. Let's go! Boom! Thank you, Noodlebags, for the sponsorship. That's well, not a speedo, but a speedo type apparatus, and it's got stars and stripes, and it will be courtesy of Noodlebags. But so anyway, so I was just like, I want to cover that up, and so like the lizard's covered up. It's actually an actual lizard now. It's not tribal, and then beside I got a huge torch, and then I got these two fish because I'm a Pisces, and I got the Pisces symbol, and then I got a huge snake around all of that because my favorite episode of Survivor was me voting out Rupert, in which the metaphor throughout the show was that this snake seeing this iguana and then eating it right before tribal, and then tribal I eat Rupert theoretically. So yeah, but I'm in pain. I'm in serious pain.
Yeah, I saw it. It's those large tattoos. They it takes a few days to recover.
Yeah. So well, this was Monday, and for those of you that did, if you'd like to see it happen in live action, it's on the Survivor South Africa podcast. That the last few episodes we had Dino and Phil from Survivor South Africa join me, and it's funny, like we're like halfway through the podcast, and like, Jonny, are you crying? And I'm like, yes, I'm crying. And I'm like, it hurts. I'm like, tell him, Harry. And this guy, Harry, is doing the tattoo. He goes, it's not hurting me at all. So glad there was humor for everyone to enjoy my pain, and the pain continues. But I'm here. I wasn't here last week. Alex isn't here this week. It's musical chairs. It's fun. But I do have a couple comments about last week's episode, if you don't mind, Dan.
No, go for it.
Okay, so the previously on last week with Leo and Enzo, the meow meow, and a cat. Holy moly. If I could have punched through my television, I would have.
Completely understandable.
Wow. I mean, with a real cat.
They finally got that budget up a little bit. Add in a prop.
Oh my God, it was painful. And also I want to say last week the Ben Blake story was great. So I'm rocking my Ben tank top right now, available at JonnyFairplay.com. I'd also like to thank the viewers and listeners that reached out to Ben and told him to unblock me on Instagram. He did, and he said, "Sorry, I haven't had time to unblock you previously. I've been too busy watching Wheel of Fortune." So so Ben is probably hearing this as well. No. Last week, the Ben story, that's the story I would have loved with Survivor.
It would have made more sense. It could have been, a lot shorter arc rather than just he's former Marines, military. Like it would have made the story a whole lot more sense.
They said Marine Corps. They said like Ben saying served our nation's military 18 times, like it dulled what was so special and magical about Ben. Like, I mean, the first time you saw it, you're just like, oh, cool. And then they dulled it. And it was just like, this is why I love this guy.
Yeah.
This is great, compelling television. This is what it's all about. And they did it in one episode, and they're done. Like, I mean, I don't think they're done with Ben, but like they told a perfect story. And you can remember, like, you don't have to say it every episode. Dan, this happened last week. Do you still remember it?
Yeah.
I do too. Guess what? In 3 more episodes, I'll still remember it too. We love Ben. It's okay. We can just love Ben.
Yeah, the way that I compared it to last week of him having his moment is now it is brought up again this episode, something different, but it was the way one of the maybe few things that they did not terrible in season 41 was Danny had his one episode where he won immunity. It was, the anniversary of his father's passing or his
Yes.
birthday. I forget which one it was.
Yeah.
And we get a little bit of it this week, but making it that one episode story arc, that's going to be more memorable and something that the viewers are going to enjoy more than constantly ramming it down your throat.
That's the number one thing I remembered about Danny out of 41 was that episode. So, and he does it again. I mean, the guy's 2 for 2. So, like, I book this guy once a year around that time. He'll be great. Danny does not respond to my messages on Instagram. He does. He doesn't have me blocked, but he does not respond. It's okay. I still like you, Danny. So,
baby steps.
We'll figure it out. I'll root against you by the end. I'm looking at my notes. I have some good stuff to say about Danny later, so get ready. All right. So we're caught up. Previously on the challenge, we have Ben, and nobody's doing their dishes still. And God bless Ben.
I think that's just the challenge house. I mean, every few seasons on like the main show, you get someone that gets real fed up about it, and apparently it's Ben this season.
I think it would be me. I don't know. It would be me, but if everyone else is doing it, I'm just like, all right, well, if you're not, I'm not.
It would drive me nuts. I lived with a roommate in college who just didn't clean his stuff anytime whatsoever, so that just gives me PTSD flashbacks.
Yeah, see, I've been lucky with all my roommates that like they've all been like when it comes to that they've been great. So there's other stuff that there were issues, of course. So
no, there was one I had where we didn't have a dishwasher, and so everyone would just throw their stuff in the sink. And so we'd take turns, and it got to be his turn to be like, well, all that stuff's not mine. It's like, well, when we did it before, all the stuff wasn't ours. But all right, that's cool.
Oh wow, how'd that work out for that person?
No
they
comment.
They just never did the dishes, and you guys just did it.
Nope. It would eventually one of us, that lived there, because there was 3 of us that lived there. One, either myself or one of my other friends, we'd finally just get to our breaking point. It was like, I'm not living in filth. Like, this just isn't what I'm doing.
Yeah. So you guys would do
eventually crack. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So he won.
Yes, he did. He did.
If there's a dishwashing challenge in an eliminator, he's won. The first one to do the dishes, Dan's like, dang it. you know my kryptonite. Oh, all right. So during the previously on stuff, we did see some highlights from previously, and Angela was hot last week during deliberation. So I haven't said that throughout the season because I didn't feel that way. But during deliberation, I'm just like, whoa, who are you? And then she's back normal. And then we get Hall Brawl highlights. Not the Hall Brawl we were looking for, Dan.
No, it was really disappointing. And so I had one of my friends that was watching the episode live last week, and I always watch next day Paramount Plus. And he's like, Hall Brawl. I was like, awesome. I can't wait. And he's like, don't want to rain on your parade. Not awesome.
Yeah, no. Would it have been awesome if it had been Sarah versus Enzo?
No.
No?
I don't think there's any way that really goes well, because is Enzo going to be revved up to be, watch me try to run through this woman on national TV?
If it's me, yeah. Do I lose? Yeah. But I think Enzo has to beat Sarah, right? Or no?
I think Enzo beats Sarah. I mean, he's so much bigger.
Dude. I mean, it's just size. The Hall Brawl is size.
And Alex and I were talking about it last week. That hall was significantly shorter than what we've seen on MTV versions. Yeah. And so if you're not able to build up any type of steam and go, it's just going to be who's bigger. They're probably going to win. Yeah.
So, yeah, not this. And it took all Danny had within him not to just run down there. And I wish he had. So, but let's speak to this. The social game of Enzo, off the charts.
Yeah, we've seen it a lot more the past few episodes where he has good connections with a lot of people in the house.
Like, I think everyone like I don't think they view him as a threat, but to go out of their way to get Enzo his money to run
Mhm.
TJ's final versus Danny? Because I feel like Danny is better connected, right?
Yeah, but the thing, I guess that is true. But at that point, I don't think Enzo he wasn't quite qualified last week. So just taking Danny's $1,000 wouldn't have done much. I mean, I don't think Danny would have lost, but even Danny getting the money that Enzo had, maybe I'm wrong,
Oh, yeah, you're
but
right. Yeah, because Enzo
yeah,
wasn't. Yeah, so that wouldn't have been enough.
yeah,
Okay. So now that makes a little more sense.
yeah. So I think with that, it was all right. Let's throw someone down there, and that way, if Enzo wins, he's good to compete for the final. If
If
not,
not, oh well. And
yeah,
then Danny will slay Leo next week.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay, I can live with that. But still, I think it's a strong social game. I know Enzo. I've hung out with Enzo. I love Enzo. I get it. Like, there's a reason the brigade made it to the end, and
Mhm.
Enzo is a very huge part of that. There's a reason Enzo made it to the end of All Stars. I think it was part goat, but I think a lot of it was just it's Enzo. We like
Well, and
Enzo.
I think that's a lot of it is that even if maybe he does some things that rub people the wrong way, which we don't really see him ever doing, but I think it's just no matter what he does, it's just like well, it's Enzo, like whatever, like
Well,
love that
I
guy.
think the only negative we've seen with Enzo in the house is the girls are saying we don't want to sleep with Enzo, and it's just like we knew that before you got in the house, so you're not. This
Yeah.
isn't new news. I mean, there might have been a hurt in Love Island girl, and then maybe.
It's about it.
So, all right. We're on a river. The episode begins. We're on a riverboat in the Willy Wonka Chocolate River, apparently. So that's nice.
Delicious.
Hey, and the Fab Five does a toast, and the Fab Five is all the women. That does not include Alyssa or Angela, who apparently are the Fab Two, and a little better at the game than the Fab Five are. Just gotta throw that out there.
Yeah, can you really, doesn't that seem a little premature to make an alliance name when you really haven't been working together all season? Be like, no, now this is the group.
I think that's the big brother in them that is not Big Brother.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. So Ben doesn't know what's going on with Sarah. I'm not sure either. And for those of you that haven't been paying attention, Angela and Alyssa, they've got the Survivor guys. And if I'm the Survivor guys, I think I'm with Angela and Alyssa too. Who do you want to run the final with?
Yeah, when it comes down to that, I mean, Angela's proven to be a beast all season, despite what Sarah says. And Alyssa she's competed very well.
Yeah. I don't think she's that strong, but of the women, she's up there. And she doesn't have the baggage that if the Fab Five is a thing, there is baggage of being stuck with cachet in a portion of TJ's final. Mm-hmm. There is the baggage of Cena's a little bit crazy right now.
Yeah.
So,
no,
but
I think
I would have gone out of my way to whisper in Desi's ear, "We good." That's it. Maybe you don't want to reveal the alliance yet or anything, but I think the Survivor guys should have gone out of their way, each of them, individually, and even I don't even care if it's just we get, no matter what happens, no, we're good. That's it.
Yeah. Well, and just, speaking more of Alyssa, if you're picking, partners for a leg of the final, I don't think she's ever a first pick for anyone, but she's someone where, you're partnered with Alyssa for this, portion of it. But that's cool with me.
Yeah. It's
no
not an
issues.
albatross.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Desi's talking and she says, Angela has real diamonds. She doesn't really need to do this. Doesn't Angela sell diamonds? Isn't that her business?
I believe so, but
yeah.
I've never really been the biggest Big Brother guy, so I can't speak a lot to her past.
I think that's her whole gimmick is she has a jewelry store. So
well,
if I
that
had
would
a
make
jewelry
a lot more
store,
sense.
if I had a jewelry store, guess what? I'm rocking real diamonds too, because like you can't. Like, I'm not going to have a jewelry store and say, hey, buy these expensive diamonds. And it's like, oh, are the diamonds that you're wearing, are those real? It's like, oh, no, but buy these. It's an investment.
Yeah.
And guess what? When you're done wearing those, you can sell those.
Yeah, absolutely. And imagine, owning the store, you get a little bit of a discount on it.
And what number one, there's a discount, but number two, you're not stuck with them.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, it's like operation costs.
I think at this point they're just looking for any reason they can because they don't like her.
They are. She's smart. She's strong. She's great. I like. I said I wish I did Hearts Reality with her. I wish I had met her, but I didn't because I didn't. All right. So Danny needs to win the daily, and guess what? He's in a stadium. It's not. No reference to the Dallas Cowboys this entire episode. Did you catch that?
No.
So, because he's all excited that he got blue because, blue's his dad's name. His dad drove a blue car. He loves the color blue. I'm sure Kiki's favorite color is blue. But guess what? When you were in a stadium the last time, I mean, you may have been in a stadium since, but I'm guessing on the grandest stage that you've been in a stadium before, you were rocking Dallas blue. That's a thing.
I'm pretty sure when he was talking about that, and I could be wrong, that they flashed a picture of him in a Cowboys uniform. I don't think that he actually mentioned it, but I think they flashed the picture on the screen.
Okay. Well, if they flashed the picture, that was when I was writing down why is he not saying Dallas Cowboys? So, plausible deniability there. Some of us take notes during shows. Alex, that's why he's not here today. he's on timeout. So I don't get this. You explain this to me, Dan. How does Alex not theoretically take notes and can tell you the breakdown of every challenge?
I have no idea. I could give you a decent summary, but with him not being here today, I went back and I watched the episode, but I was like, no, I have to make sure I get the wording for it right and everything because I don't remember what the challenge names
I can't even give you go listen. So for any of you wondering what Patreon is like, and of course go to realitypatron.com. That's Patron. Matt and I talk about the challenges. It's just like there's like a ball and some levers. Like I don't really feel it's important. But I will say when I do a podcast with Alex Trias and he does this, I was just like, wow, like I feel like I know more about the challenge than when I watched it.
Yeah, he's very good at it.
Yeah, I think he's better than TJ. Like, if we can work out a gig for Alex to show up at the challenge, or with Jeff, it's just like today's challenge, and just have Alex show up and explain it. It'd be a good gig.
Not bad at all.
I don't know how well it'd pay.
Can't imagine it'd be that great.
I don't think he's SAG. I don't think. I'm sorry, AFTRA. He has to be AFTRA. That's TV. Sorry, SAG is film. All right. But if they do a Survivor movie, maybe. Alex, we're looking out for you, even though you're not here.
One day.
Yes. For those of you wondering, Alex had a severe pegging incident, and he should be back next week. It's a long-term joke. If you don't get it, become a patron, and you'll get it. I promise. It'll take you 2 weeks tops. All right. So the challenge is the daily is collect 4. Dan Montchal, what's collect 4?
Collect 4. So they are in the Rossing Football Club Stadium that has a seating of 60,000 people. And what they're doing is they're essentially playing Connect 4, but everyone has their own boards. So throughout the stadium, everyone's assigned the color. We said Danny got blue. You have to go and get your tokens and try to collect 4 on your particular, spot. But also what you can do is on the back side of your token, it's black, and you can use that as a blocker to prevent someone else from connecting 4 on their mat.
Did TJ ever use the words Connect 4? Like
I don't think so.
I don't think he did either. And the whole time I'm just like, it's Connect 4. So, but did you notice they had tape on their wrist to remind them of what color they had?
I didn't at the time, but now that you mention it, I think I specifically remember like Danny's blue,
Yeah,
and yeah.
yeah, they all had the color of their color. Turned mine, it's just like. I'm guessing there may have been like. I mean, we have a lot of people playing, so maybe it's like dark blue, light blue, and whatever. So that makes sense. Not that they're idiots, which was my first guess.
And apparently, another rule for the challenge that we weren't necessarily told on the show was 25% of the time. So one of every 4, you couldn't just run to throw 4 on. You needed to put down 1 blocker for one in every 4.
Oh, okay. So instead of just doing just 4 in a row.
Yeah, so you couldn't just run and get your 4, and if no one saw you, just let it go. You did have to put down a blocker.
All right. I wonder if anyone cheated and they didn't catch it until after the fact, and then there's no way you can restart this thing.
Yeah, I feel like if you just go with it, they just.
Yeah, it's CBS. We don't care. I would say it's MTV. We don't care. It's just like, no, it's CBS. All right, fair enough. So the Fab Five can sabotage the 2, but initially only Kayla figures this out.
She is trying to make eye contact with everyone else in the Fab Five, and apparently she's just looking around at no one.
Yeah, the Fab Five. Oh, Sarah figures it out. Don't worry. So Danny got blue. His dad's name is Carter's blue. Loves color blue. Kiki, I'd imagine, loves blue. We didn't hear it, but we get to Kiki later. All right, so remember that whole strategy that the Fab Five could have used against against Angela and Alyssa?
Yeah, this is why maybe you should test your alliance before giving it a name.
Okay. Well. So that whole strategy is used by Alyssa and Angela on Sarah, and guess who figures it out pretty quickly?
She takes it very well. She's not upset. She knows it's just part of the game. It's no big deal.
Okay. Well, she is there to let everyone there know that is what they're doing, and apparently no one cares except for Kayla, who was the only person to figure out what you should really do if this is really an alliance and what you're going to do to save them.
Yeah, wow. It becomes very quick, being like, well, I could actually win this. So no thanks, coach. I'm good.
Yeah. So so we see Lucina explain this to Enzo. Hey, you got to block them, and Enzo goes, "I got you." And then Enzo explains to us, "I ain't getting involved. This ain't my fight."
I also just love that Enzo. You can tell he's like, it's a female elimination day. He's like, I'm not pushing it. I'm just going to take my time.
Yep.
Go collect my tokens, and I'll be safe.
Yes. So so we see Dom blocking David. David doesn't like it, and I'm like, I don't have a problem with it. So and appears as though next week David's going to get some screen time.
I don't think that's good news for David.
No, I don't think so either. I think it's good news for us, the viewer.
Yeah. It was finally, the beginning, the first few episodes, because, mentioned not the biggest Big Brother watcher. You and Alex were talking about David. In the back of my head, I was like, who's David? I haven't seen him all season. And then he finally had, his 1 or 2 shining moments. And it goes back to that where I still have to think like, oh yeah, David's still there.
Yeah. Well, next week is a women's elimination, so it can't be that big of bad news. But if David is drawing attention to himself, which he should not, I wouldn't mind a Tyson just taking his money, just for the principle
of it. Yeah. That's at this point. I mean,
I don't mind. Danny McRae can take his money. I mean, I don't care, but I don't love David. I still want to know the photographs he has of whoever CBS exec to get him cast on these shows, because I see that he's attractive. I see the eye. I get all that. And I also see the need for maybe not the smartest competitor. But the pool is so vast.
It makes no sense, and it doesn't do them any justice when Cinco got eliminated like 4 episodes ago, wasn't a main competitor, and we know more about him than we do David.
Yes. Oh, well, we hear about Cinco at the end. Don't worry. All right. So Danny wins, and Kiki's going to shed so many tears because she's a TJ fan. You're not going to believe this. TJ is actually talking to Danny right now. Danny, I'm pretty sure TJ's been talking to you this whole time.
It's different.
Is it?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. Do you think Danny didn't think that TJ was talking to him and maybe just at him before?
It's possible. I don't know. Maybe it's just more special because it's after a win, so it was, just directly towards him.
I think just TJ explaining it daily. I feel like me and TJ were talking. For me. And I think TJ would, or I think Kiki would have given me credit for that as well. Like I think if Kiki were my wife, and I'm not saying she is, so Danny, please, you're a much bigger man, and in every way I imagine. Well, Bluetooth's no longer a sponsor. What are we gonna do? That was slow-hanging fruit. I couldn't help it. So, but if I'm on the Challenge USA or whatever challenge, but especially the Challenge USA. And then in the first daily, like I get there and TJ is like, all right, today's challenge is clockwork, and you guys are gonna run up a clock, and and I get to have my little Skype call with my wife Kiki. Is that my wife? I go, Kiki, TJ talked to me. What did he say? He goes, today's challenge is clockwork. You got to climb the clock. That counts. I don't think Kiki's telling me, oh, no, boo. You ain't getting credit for that. I don't think so. I think she'd be like, oh, sweetie, congrats.
It's either that or it's just they didn't know where they were going to get all the Kiki mentions this. So I can only imagine that, Danny's just in there giving confessionals and just ripping off Kiki confessionals because maybe they didn't realize it right away that this was going to be gold. But they're like, no, let's get a few extra. That way we can plug and play wherever we need to throughout the season.
All right. Well, this one's, I really feel that Danny has spoken with TJ Lavin, prior BMX legend, for those of you that aren't aware and haven't read the Crier on it long. Okay, so Desi wins for the girls. Holy moly, is Desi jacked?
She's looks incredible.
Why is no one not saying that she is the odds-on favorite for a female to win this thing?
I have no idea.
Like I keep hearing Angela, based on money, strategy, and she's good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing Lucina, who it took now to qualify, but that has nothing to do with anything. She did, and she's in, and she's a beast.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at Desi, and I'm just like, whatever. If I'm running TJ's final, whatever the hardest segment is, and I'm paired with someone, I'm choosing Desi if I get to pick.
Well, maybe, she's the one that's been whispering in Sarah's ear because, you've talked about this before on Pearl Island. Your strategy was talk about how big of a threat Lil was if she got to the end. Yeah. Maybe she's the one that's always telling Sarah that Angela is such a big threat, and that's just where all the focus is.
And it's not on her. I think let's talk outside Challenge USA. Let's talk regular challenge. Cast this girl on regular challenge.
Absolutely. She'd be a beast.
She wins a regular challenge. She should win this one.
Yeah, she has, from what we've seen and what we know, no weaknesses. She's exceptional at a lot of things and better than average at everything else. So there's really no weaknesses.
Her only weakness is potentially being paired with Enzo in one of the first of TJ's final segments.
Yeah.
That's the only weakness I see in her armor is potentially being paired with Enzo.
Yeah, especially if they do like an early type purge thing where it really depends on who your first partner is.
That is her only weakness.
Well,
God bless America. She's good. Good on her. Way to go. Oh, I am so Desi. I'm impressed. All right, so Danny does win, and Tyson's not concerned with Danny's threat level. And I'm like, what am I missing that Tyson's looking at here? Because I do feel that Tyson, if he's in TJ's final, is a front runner to win.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But I feel like Danny is too.
Yeah, and that's the thing that doesn't make more sense. So I know last week Alex and I were talking about, it was, pick two people that you think could win from either side. And we even said, we were just talking about Desi, that we feel like there's a lot of good still females that are left. But when it comes to the male side of who's going to win, it's Tyson or Danny. And I would be shocked if it was anyone else.
Yeah, right? So, yeah, I don't, like, I mean, maybe he was just trying to downplay Danny, just to play the heel in a confessional. But I'm just like, I don't like 1A, 1B. Like, who's winning the challenge? Who's going to the challenge world for the U.S.? It's Danny or Tyson, right?
Absolutely.
How great is it that Enzo would represent the Hey, where's the Love Island Europe girls? I'm Enzo, the meow meow.
Would be phenomenal.
It would. They would explain how they're not into him, and it would be good. Okay, so Danny's in the finals. Great. Sarah is blacked out. And so as a result, all right, I don't get this. Sarah, you're complaining that you're not in TJ's final up until this moment.
Mm-hmm.
You see what the other girls are doing, and it seems like a foregone conclusion. Why wouldn't you just embrace it and just be like, y'all sealed your own fate? When are y'all going
home? Because I think what we've seen this season is that, Sarah may be great, a competitor at certain things, but her personality maybe kind of sucks in a competition scenario.
I don't know. I can tell you based on hanging out with Sarah Lucina. She's pretty awesome. She's very inquisitive, extremely inquisitive. But I think she's pretty awesome. But I've not done a competition based show. I haven't starred with her. So those variables make a big difference. So I mean, like Yao Man outside the game, incredible. Yao Man in the game sucks, big time. Yeah, I was just like, yeah, man, like I mean, we went into the game with an alliance. I was just like, hey, man, like, what's up? And he was just like, oh, I don't talk during the game. I'm like, what do you mean? Because I don't talk. Because this is business. I'm just here for business. And I'm just like, all right, well, if we're gonna make it 39 days, like, can't we talk about something? He goes, no. I was like, this sucks.
Well, and the one thing that we never really saw from Sarah too much in her Survivor time was where she was on the bottom, like the target, and she knew it. So like her back against the wall, because, the first time she played Cagayan, she was blindsided.
Yeah.
And then she obviously won, the second time, and then was Final Four. So we never really saw her at a time where it's just like, you're on the bottom, things aren't going your way. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. So with that, it's a really good time.
Support for Reality After Show is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. That's right, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code SURVIVOR at manscaped.com. If my math's correct, that's about 12 million balls.
The Performance Package 4.0 has arrived, and oh man, is it a game changer. Inside this package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker, ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold your goodies.
First off, the Lawnmower 4.0, this trimmer is the future of grooming, and dare I say, the greatest ball trimmer ever.
Their 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to help reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof and has a 4000K LED spotlight that you need for a more precise shave.
Now, I have a dark shower curtain in my bathroom, and I've been looking for the perfect way to shave in the dark, kinda. Guess what? I found it! 4000K LED! No longer a problem. I got perfectly smooth, clean balls thanks to the Lawnmower 4.0.
It's time to take care of yourself, so go to manscaped.com and get 20% off and free shipping with the code SURVIVOR. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code SURVIVOR. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Thanks for sticking with us through the ad break. And don't forget, for more exclusive Reality After Show coverage, visit realitypatron.com. That's reality, Patron.com.
All right, and we are back. Thanks, Manscaped. Oh, I peeked behind the curtain, literally. I'm Manscaped today. Great.
Very nice.
Figure I'd throw that out there.
I did Monday.
I'm in a lot of pain on the thigh, trying to divert some attention. So, just like,
There you go.
Clean that up, maybe we'll look over there. All right. So, Fat Five's a little weak, and it's time for deliberations. Sarah wants Angela or Alyssa. Okay. And Danny's like, that's great. I'm all about cachet.
Well, that was because, openly in, when TJ was announcing the results, she isn't doing it in confessional. She isn't whispering it. She's already just all pumped up, being like, that means I get who I want because Desi's in there. And Danny's just like, here.
Yeah. So, all right. Danny and Desi chat. And because they're both the winners, they have the power. And Danny explained, I thought the alliance was with the Survivor guys, Angela and Alyssa, and the Survivor girls. Did no one tell you that last part?
No, we've all been talking about it.
And the answer was no, they had not. And Desi understands that Sarah is a bit of a wild card, so she does get that. But then thinking about it, she's like, "But why didn't you tell me?" And that's where I'm like, "Why didn't you tell her? If you're a dude, how do you not want Desi as a potential partner in TJ's final?" I guarantee. I mean, it may not be. It might be individual throughout, and I'm insane. But if it is, if you're partnered up at the beginning and there's a purge, you want Desi more than anybody. At least top. I mean, worst case scenario, top 3. You want Desi more than Cachet.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know.
If they're swimming, you don't want Cachet. The same reason that Leo went. They didn't get rid of Leo. Well, I mean, they may not have liked Leo. I think they like Leo just fine.
Yeah.
Let's just say they did like Leo, for argument's sake. I don't, but let's say they did. He can't swim. If you're a female, you don't want him sniffing the final because you don't want to get stuck with him if you are paired.
No, absolutely.
So, and I don't want Cachet. She seems very nice. Possible. I mean, I have her top 3 most likable person in this cast. I don't want to run with the most likable.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of it was just hard because, when the deal was kind of brokered, with, say, Angela and Ben last week, no one really had that relationship with Desi. And so I don't think that they were thinking, oh, we need to go after her, but it was just more of, well, why would we go to Desi if those two in particular don't really have much of anything going on?
Well, I think Ben does feel he has a relationship with Desi. I mean, they were on the same season of Survivor together.
I don't think Ben knows that, but yeah, that is true.
Yeah, but I think he knows that, and I think he thinks they have a relationship, and Desi's like, I mean, we don't follow each other on Instagram. I mean, it's not like he has me blocked like Jonny Fairplay, but
See, that is true, and I constantly forget that they were on the same season, and that says a lot about the season.
And I wouldn't. We don't know. I mean, because like they chop up stuff, they edit it. They're just like say it like and true. I've done these shows, like say I'm Desi, and I'm just like no one talked to me except for Ben. They're just gonna chop. They're either gonna say, "Can you say that again without saying except for Ben? Can you just say no one talked to me?" Or they're just gonna chop off except for Ben because they don't need it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
But if I'm Ben, and you might not have seen it on Survivor, but I feel like you kind of have glimpses. He's not bad at the game. I mean, like, yes, he had to win his way through to, and we now have fire forever because of him. But it was not a one-time thing, Dan, I promise. It's forever. And they will continue to have it just to prove that, just to prove their point. I hate fire so much. I made fire last week. Did you see that?
I did, yeah.
3.5 minutes. It's not bad.
No, not bad at all, considering when's the last time that you did it?
It's been a while. I used to make fire like every few months just to, in case I got the call. And now I'm just like, screw you guys. So, I mean, but where's it at? I have Flint right here. You never know.
3.5 for not doing it forever, and figuring, you're going to be in the situation, you could probably trim that in half.
Another way to trim in half. Manscaped.com promo code Survivor. So, but yeah, no. Ben's good at the game, and Ben's got to know that Desi's a pretty good person to work with. I just don't think they should. I think they broad stroked Desi being out of the loop.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
Because
if not,
at the end of the day, she changes her mind. It wasn't like she put her foot down. Though I have other thoughts about that as well.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
So let's see. It's bar time. It's probably the best bar time yet this season, other than the first episode where the Love Island girls were dancing the vodka lake. It was fun, and no one else was because they're married and boring and shouldn't have been cast. That's a different story for different time. Go back and watch the previous podcast. So Alyssa tries to talk game with Sarah. That's it.
Goes well.
Oh, did it? Oh, my bad. I had a completely different read. I thought it went horrible. Oh, wait, you were being sarcastic. It did go horrible. Okay, great. And and then I love that Danny's just like, look, Desi's not buying any of this stuff. Dom, do your magic. I'm like, way to pass the buck, Danny. Way to go. Like, Danny, I felt like Danny had a little bit of social prowess in 40, what season? 41, 42?
41, yeah.
41. And apparently not. He's just like, hey, Dom, you're good. You almost won. I didn't. You handle this.
Well, I think what they needed to do is, Danny maybe could have done it, but I think it was also important to hear it coming from not just him. Okay. So my guess would be that, Desi probably has that relationship with Ben. And so it came to Danny going to Dom and Tyson and saying, hey, you also need to go have a conversation with her.
Yeah. And I wouldn't have minded some footage. Like, this is where all these challenges should be like 4 minutes. I really don't care what happens in 3 of them. I would have liked to have seen a Tyson Desi discussion.
And I'm pretty sure that one was had.
Yeah.
Because
really?
Yeah.
You think?
Well,
I'm going to make it. I'm going to screw over the Fab Five, and I'm going to make alliance with the Survivor guys, but I'm not going to talk to one of them.
Well, and from what I've heard, I don't know what Danny's position was, but maybe part of the reason, going back to Tyson's earlier comment of not being that worried about Danny, from what I've heard, that Danny was Tyson's number 2. So that's who he was closest with within the Survivor, grouping there. I don't know if Danny,
because I mean he's already had shots fired by the other ones.
yeah. So I'd imagine that, but yeah, when it's that, I don't get why you want to say, hey, we can show 1 or 2 conversations. Why you'd ever pick the conversation with Dom over the one with Tyson, I won't understand, but who knows?
There you go. All right, so Cache does not want to go against Sarah. Smart. Angela is an absolute no from Danny. Smart. And Cache says Danny is power mad. I don't feel that he is. I don't. There was nothing that illustrated that. Like Danny was just like, please, anyone in the world help me other than me. Like, I mean, literally, Danny was walking around with his hands up, going, please, dear God, help.
Yeah.
That is not the definition of power mad that I know. No,
you'd think that more of like, I have the power. We're doing what I want, not someone else. Please handle this.
Yeah. So, oh well. So.
Because, like, when you'd think of it, you'd think that Danny would hold more of the power here, because who knows what the tiebreaker would have been. But from what we've seen a lot of the times, that if it's a tie, whoever has the power has to go down in.
Yeah.
And, unless they threw something at it where it's just like, oh, well, and by the way, that means Danny, you have to go in next time, which I don't think they do.
They would just,
so
it would just be Desi being screwed.
Yeah. So wouldn't you just think that gives Danny essentially all the power here, saying, we're doing what I want, or you're going to have to go down.
Yeah. And I would hope he wouldn't have to say that.
No, I don't. I would hope he wouldn't have to either.
No, I wouldn't have a problem. So the Fab Five has a new plan. Let's convince Sarah to that all Danny really wants is for the pick to be Alyssa and not Angela. And so Sarah swallows her pride and says, Sarah swallows pride and goes, you know what? I don't have to have Angela. I would settle for Alyssa. And she's like, so are we good? And they're like,
Danny's, you can just see the look of his eyes, because they do the fist pound, but he's just like, yeah, that's still a no for me.
Yeah, that's great that you will settle. You know what? If you can settle for that, you're gonna love my next option. Cache. So it's time for the Eliminator. It is in a roll. We'll get there to what it is, but once you see it, Alyssa's legs are dead from the stairs. So she doesn't really want to do it, and I'm just like, Alyssa. Sarah has run 7 marathons in 7 days on 7 continents. A feat achieved by what? 3 other people, and I think she's the only female.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Insanity.
Yeah.
Yeah. My legs would be dead too.
Can't do it.
So please, I don't care if your legs are perfect, Alyssa. Sarah Lacina, like, put this in your mind, folks. What is a marathon is 26.2 miles. Sarah Lacina ran 26.2 miles, got on a plane, flew to another continent. The next day ran 26.2 miles, got on a plane, flew to another continent, ran 26.2 miles. Did this 7 days in a row. She had frostbite. She had sunburn, blister. Like, it was insanity.
That sounds like the most miserable thing I could ever do in my life.
It sounds like the most badass thing I've ever heard of my entire life. I told her, I'm like, you are the most badass human being I've ever met. Like, dude, girl, what? I don't. So yeah, maybe Sarah beats into an all. That's badassery. So yeah, but let's just like her dead. Okay. So Danny says Cache. Desi agrees, and Desi explains. She's like, I'm going to bite my tongue and go to a final. I'm like, all right, well, once again, I feel like there was a few more conversations we didn't see. 42-minute show after commercials. I get it. But so would have loved to have seen the Tyson conversation here.
Yeah, and I still feel like you just have to break it down to as simple as, okay, so if there's one more elimination, 1, 2, whatever's left, you figure Sarah is always going to hate that Big Brother group. So you're fine. Like like just make this move. You're simply fine because they're not going to target
crossfire.
You. Yeah.
All right. So, and then I mentioned, okay. So, in a roll. How's it work, Dan?
So both players essentially go what's into a giant steel hamster wheel. Attached to the wheel is 300 foot of rope, and in the center is a ball. So you have to get through your 300 foot and then pull the ball over to your wheel.
I had no idea there was rope involved. This is simple idea here. All right. Cache thought it might be a hall brawl. Cache, they do not recycle challenges. And she was going to fake an injury if it was. I'm like, that's the smartest thing said this entire episode. And
against Sarah, I would have too.
Same. So yeah, so it technically is endurance. Like, so Sarah's a little worried. She's like, if this is like a quick race, then Cache might get me. It's not. 300 feet means you are running a mini marathon, and Sarah wins the first one, goes the next one. Second one's kind of close.
Yeah, it actually looked. Yeah, it appeared from what we saw that Cache wasn't far behind, because you could even see it as they were pulling. As Sarah got it to her side, like there was some tension on it where the rope was up in the air. It wasn't just drug over to Sarah's side.
But I think the reason that was the case is because I don't think Cache did a lot in the first round. Like Sarah expelled. Like Sarah just went. There's not a. If it's like, say you got 5 gears in your engine.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a challenge, especially like a Survivor challenge, challenge, whatever. If it's an eliminator, Sarah is in that 5th gear. That's it. That's the only gear she's in. Sarah, even though Cache was having difficulty at first, Sarah never went down to the 4th or 3rd gear, knowing that she had a lead.
No.
She was staying in that 5th gear. So, like, she might, like, round 2, she, like, 4th gear might have been as high as she could get just because she gave everything, but it doesn't matter. She won't back it off that first one, and then she won the second one.
No, and especially because I don't think Cache would be able to hit that 4th gear that's equivalent to Sarah's 4th gear.
Yeah, and then if there was a round 3, Sarah, it's not close round 3.
No.
I don't think. Maybe, but I don't. So Sarah wins, and Danny says that she can thank him later. I love you, Danny, even though you've already responded. And Cache, of course, has to talk about Cinco on the way out. I'm like, oh, all right, I liked you for a good chunk, Cache, and then you lost me again. I mean, I just like, Cache, be you. You're not the Cinco story. You're the Cache story. Embrace yourself.
I still wouldn't be surprised if maybe part of that was snippets of a longer conversation that production just used, because they're like, oh, we'll finally put a bow on it at the end.
Yeah, I didn't need the bow. And next week, Sarah's coming after Angela and Alyssa, and there is the tractor trailer challenge next week. Okay, so let's go back in time. So the eliminator this week is the Connect 4 or Collect 4. I think I do pretty good at this. I'm a runner, so I got the wind.
Yeah, I think it depends who you go up against, but I'd say that you'd beat most of the cast.
I mean, Tyson has longer legs than me, and I feel that helps on stairs. So,
in the males,
it was Danny's day, so maybe that factors in. But I'm not. I don't think I'm getting like. Well, it's not even a men's elimination. But I don't think I don't think I'm last.
No, not
Okay?
at all.
And I'm definitely beating Enzo. And probably do. Okay, so and then let's say it's a guy's elimination. It's not. Let's just say it is. The running thing, I'm beating Cachet.
Yeah, that's fair. No, I feel like you would do well in all of these. The only one would be
last week I think I get
yeah.
eliminated by Enzo.
Yeah.
What the F? I like you go back and watch or listen to the coverage. I've played a flawless game. I lose to Enzo in a Hall Raw? I don't think I beat Leo.
You might be able to beat Leo.
I don't know. I don't know how big he is.
Yeah, that's what it came.
Didn't look that small because Enzo is much bigger than me because I've hung out with Enzo. So Enzo's not small, and Leo looks smaller, but not exponentially smaller. And I'm not. I'm 5'8", 150. All Brawl is just never for me.
I feel like you still would have put up a better fight against Leo than Leo did against Enzo.
Yeah, but God, to be eliminated against Enzo. Ooh. Love you, Enzo. Just throwing it out there. So we may have found my first kryptonite. Well, I think we knew it going into the challenge. My kryptonite was the Hall Brawl.
Yeah, maybe you're not down there that week.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think I beat anyone left in a Hall. Like Desi beats me. Okay, all the dudes beat me. Okay, like let's not subtract them. Okay, all right. So all the dudes beat me. Desi beats me.
Yeah.
Lucina beats me.
Mm-hmm.
I think Justine beats me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cachet potentially just jumps over me. I think Cachet beats me. And so
Kayla, Angela, and Alyssa.
I feel Kayla's more solid than me.
So what I'm hearing is maybe Alyssa.
I don't know if I beat Alyssa. I think I beat Alyssa. All right, so if I get to choose my opponent to stay in the game, I choose. Have I chosen Alyssa to compete against? I don't know. Anyway, I choose Alyssa. I think that's the only person, and even that I'm not sure about. I'm just not. Hall Brawl's not for me, brother.
Yeah. No, I mean that's just the way that some of these challenges are. I mean, you look at what it was Total Madness. It was Jay's first season that a lot of the things he was going to do well at with his background, but he went into a real physical elimination against a bigger guy, and it's just.
And even the physical thing, like that last rope thing, who was it?
He went against Leroy.
Leroy, who broke. If there's a world record for that challenge, Leroy got it.
I think Jay would have beat anyone on that cast except for Leroy.
Yeah, not a single person on that cast beats him but Leroy. And as I said, if there's a Guinness Book of World Record for that challenge, for that eliminator, Leroy, just go ahead and put his name on the trophy.
Absolutely,
it was incredible. So yeah, next week the tractor trailer. I don't like my chances on that.
Especially because it looked like something to do with
I hate watching it.
Especially, it looked like it had something to do with like a peg wall on the side of it. And that's a tough one.
Speaking of pegging, we miss you, Alex. and shout out to Matt Bishop. So, all right, Dan, this is fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so everybody, thank you. We love you. We appreciate your support. Once again, go to Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star review, leave a just great podcast. It literally takes 5 seconds. I've looked. You guys haven't done it. I'm begging you. I mean, it's not that difficult. 5 seconds of your life. Just write great podcast. That's it. And 5-star review, or don't leave a 5-star. Why would you even do this if you wouldn't leave a 5-star? So leave a 5-star review. And of course, check out our sponsor. We only have one now, so that makes it easy. Manscaped.com, promo code Survivor. Trim up your balls. And truth be told, the girlfriend uses it too. we share. I mean, our mouths in the same places. It's okay. Not complaining. And so get yourself a Manscaped. It's great. Promo code Survivor. And the best way, of course, to support the podcast, become a patron. Go to Reality Patron. That's RealityPatron.com. Reality Patron. No one said there would be a spelling challenge here. So become a patron. Try it for a month. If you don't like it, let me know. I'll send your money back. I'm not scared. No one's been held hostage ever in the history of the Patreon. So I think you'll like it. Our weekly Q&A is a lot of fun. We tell stories that we shouldn't, and they're great. We're also covering Australian Survivor All-Stars, and that has been a blast. One of the greatest seasons in the history of Survivor. So we have links to all that, links to Survivor South Africa there, and everything. So try it. Try it for a month. RealityPatron.com. And Dan, thank you. And thank you, everyone. I'm stoked, and I'm in pain because I got a tattoo because I didn't want a gecko rocking around under the back. Till next week. Bye.
And for more bonus content, go to realitypatron.com. That's right, become a patron now. Get additional coverage of all your favorite shows, the weekly Q&A, and you become a member of the secret, exclusive Facebook group. That's realitypatron.com.